Hello again, everyone. Back with another update on the Revell 2008 Bullitt Mustang. So at this point, I am done with the next section of the directions, which is the chassis. I'll turn it over here in just a second, but I wanted to show you a couple of things real quick. First, you finish up the engine. Once everything is painted, it falls together fairly easily. The only thing you might want to watch out for is this radiator hose, which is part number 42, and you can't really see it, and I know I can't focus in. There's a smaller radiator hose, part number 78, which connects on the side of the engine and into the side of the part number 42 radiator hose. It makes it interesting when you're dropping the engine in relation to the radiator. There is no indicated spot where this hose is supposed to connect to the radiator. So it kind of just ends up wherever it ends up. Mine is, as you can see, it's not really in the center, but it's certainly not off to the left-hand side, which is where I would expect it to be. But again, just a model, so I'm not going to get too hung up over that. Okay, and then you move on to the chassis. So a couple of things to watch out for here. These aux tubes are all one piece. You just paint those up and glue them in. There are a couple of pieces, and I do apologize, I am blanking on which ones. The part numbers do not match the instructions to the parts trees, so you got to kind of go and look for the one you want. And it was just 2 parts, so it's not a huge deal, but it is something to watch out for. So the front suspension went together no problem. You'll notice when you're doing this in the directions, they want you to put these couple of parts together and then add the front springs and then attach it to the chassis base here. And of course, you know, everything we do is personal preference. I found it a lot easier to put the front suspension parts on, turn it over so that I'm looking at it just like you are right now, and then add the springs. And there is a note in the directions, make sure that the centers are as close to 1 3/4 inches apart as you can, so that when you drop the interior tub on, they line up with the shock towers, which are part of that molded piece. And then in the back, you do want to go in the order listed in the directions, which was, you know, not something I always do. I kind of like to work ahead, but the rear sway bar in part number 36, and that may actually be one of the misnumbered parts. Don't quote me on that. It really does need to go in last. Otherwise, it's in the way of the rear control arms and the rear shocks, and almost in the way of the rear axle. So do these other parts first. Do save the rear sway bar for last. And then the last part of this, part of the instructions, is the brake rotors. The calipers are molded on. As you can see, I painted mine red. I just thought that would be fun. One thing to note, there is one side, and looking at the directions, it looks like it is this side. For some reason, even though the back of the caliper has a shape molded to match, you know, where it glues on, this side also, both front and back, these rotors have a little notch in them, so you can only put them on this side. I think that's a little strange since they're exactly the same otherwise, but that's how Revell did it. So if you were like me and you just pop them, all 4 of them off the tree, and you're getting ready to glue them on, do watch out. One side, front and back, there is a little notch to make them fit correctly. All right. So coming up is the interior tub. I have a bunch of parts ready to paint, so we'll be doing that hopefully in the next few days. And as soon as that is together, I will be back with another update. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy modeling.